Hello, everyone. Welcome to Content Writing 101 with Riri. Nice to have you here. First of all, we will be talking about various things that have to do with content writing. We're just going to go into the basics right now. First of all, we have what is content writing? What exactly is content writing? Content writing is basically the process of planning, writing, editing, and publishing written materials such as blogs, social media content, articles for a target audience, for a particular audience. And a content writer is basically someone who writes blog articles, website content, or online content for businesses. Content writing basically just has to do with producing content, producing written materials for people or for a particular target audience. And when it comes to content writing, there are so many possibilities. There is a lot, there are a lot of fields, there are a lot of areas to focus on in the area of content writing. So basically, a content writer can write a variety of things. They can write a variety of written materials. They could write blogs or articles or anything actually. And then there are various types of content writing. And right now we'll be talking about 8 types. First off, we have blog writing. I think we already know what this is. This is basically when, this is when a person decides to start a blog, and a blog can be personal blog. It can be a personal blog about your journeys. It could be a food blog about food. It could be anything, and it's quite easy to open or to start a blog. Another form of content writing is social media writing. We see a lot of written form on social media, probably like under the captions, maybe 5 ways to build your social media views. This also falls under types of content writing. Also, we have product description. Content writers also do product description. Product description basically has to do with describing a particular product, and it is the job of a content writer to come up with content that describes a product. So a content writer can also be, someone who does product description. We also have video scripts. A content writer writes scripts. A lot of YouTube scripts we see are written by content writers. A lot of skits, a lot of informative shows are all written by content writers. So they also write video scripts. So as a content writer, or if you want to go into content writing, you could also, go into writing scripts. And a content writer also writes emails. A content writer also writes emails. They can generate emails, especially when you're talking about bulk emails. We see that there are various websites that will tell us to sign into their newsletter, and most of these newsletters are written by content writers. We also have technical writing. It basically has to do with making complicated words simpler, especially when it comes to the tech world. We have so many things going on in the tech world, and we need technical writers to break things down. And then a content writer also writes articles. This is almost a no-brainer. They write articles for magazines, for journals, you name it. So a content writer also writes articles, like I said, in magazines and journals and newspapers. They write articles. It could even be on online websites. They write, articles, and then they also write manuals, guides, how to do this, how to do that. These are all jobs of a content writer. And as you can see, there are so many types, and there are even some that I haven't even mentioned here. So moving on, we'll be talking about the benefits of a career in content writing. So what are the benefits? What do we gain? What do we stand to gain from being a content writer in the first place? So first off, it is of high demand. Yes, right now content writing is of high demand. A lot of people are looking for content writers. A lot of people are looking for script writers. They're looking for people to write articles. It's of high demand, and majority of the job vacancies you'll find are actually looking for content writers. Either content writers that are remote, hybrid, or on site. They are actually looking for content writers. So that is number one benefit. Number two, you have flexible work hours. This is actually very amazing because you can choose when you want to work. Now, what do I mean by you can choose when you want to work? As a content writer, especially if you are a remote writer, which means you do not work in the office, you can decide what time you want to work. It could be in the morning, it could be at noon, it could be at night. As long as you're able to meet up with the deadline you're given, you're good to go. And number three, I'd say you can work where you want. You can work from home. You can work from a coffee shop. You can work wherever you find yourself. So this is actually another big benefit of being a content writer. You can work from wherever you want, without, feeling awkward. You can work comfortably. If you love to work in, a warm room temperature or a warm temperate place, it is up to you. And if you prefer somewhere cool and cold, that's also up to you. So that's another lovely thing about being a content writer. Also, you can build more writing experience. As a content writer, you can build your writing experience. You can dabble into different areas of writing as a content writer. You can dabble into script writing, storytelling, whatever it is. Every part of writing is actually considered in content writing. So really, it is a great avenue to learn and build your writing experience. And finally, you are exposed to more knowledge. The more you write content on various topics, the more you gain more knowledge on that particular topic. There's so many things I actually know about thanks to content writing, because you have to do a lot of research. You have to do a whole lot of research, and the more you read, the more you learn, and no knowledge is ever wasted. You do not know where you would actually end up needing these particular things you've been researching about or you've been learning about. So those are the benefits, and now we'll be moving on to fundamentals of content writing. When it comes to the fundamentals of content writing, these are the major things. These are like the building blocks or the pillars of content writing, and we'll be starting off with research. So it is very vital for a content writer to be a good researcher, because when it comes to content writing, you will be writing on various topics, and you need to have proper knowledge on them. You might not be a medical personnel, and you might have to write an article on probably health related topics, and then you have to do your research. Research is one of the things that makes content writers stand out. You're able to go deep, read journals, read write-ups, read articles that would make you better and help you understand the topic better, and you'll be able to write better. And another form of research is also watching videos. You can find videos on almost everything on YouTube. So you have to just be calm and take time to research if you really want to be a good content writer. Research is everything. It can't be emphasized. It is very, very important. Next, we have keywords. Keywords are quite important when it comes to content writing. You need to, pick the right keywords, choose the right keywords. When it comes to content writing, there's something called search engine optimization, in which you make use of words that will get your article a better ranking on Google. Most times when you open Google or you search for a particular thing, maybe how to bake bread, you'll find out that certain articles will pop up first. It doesn't mean there aren't a million articles on how to bake bread, but those are the ones with the right keywords, and then they get ranked higher than other articles. So you have to learn how to choose the right keywords, and we'll be talking extensively on keywords, on how to choose the right keywords in our next class. We'll be focusing mostly on SEO keywords, SEO and keywords, using or utilizing them for content writing. So yes, it's quite important. Next we'll be looking at tone. Tone is basically the voice in which you write. Each person has a unique tone. You have a unique voice. You have a unique way you write. So yeah, you have that unique way you write, that uniqueness that makes you different from other writers. Every other person might be actually writing in a particular way, but then there's something that makes you stand out. We have millions of content writers and they write on various topics. Some people may write on the same topic, but what makes them stand out is the way they write. What's that uniqueness? What's that voice that comes out when you write? You need to find your voice. That's one thing that it's very, very, very important. Finding your voice. And another thing you should understand too when it comes to content writing and comes to tone is that you should also understand the tone in which you're going to write. And your tone depends on the audience you're writing for. For example, let's say you're writing maybe a funny piece, you have to work on the tone. It has to make people laugh. And then if you're writing maybe a piece on someone that just died, there's a way you write it, more solemn, more quiet. So you have to place into consideration your tone. Also, I'd say your structure. Your content needs to have a structure. Very important. Your content needs to have a good structure, and basically it should have a beginning or like an introduction whereby you talk about, like, just give a brief overview of what you want to talk about, and then you move into your body. Your body can be broken down. You have your headings and your subheadings. Maybe and one thing about headings and subheadings is that they are very, very important. They make it easy for your readers to know what to find in your article. These days people don't have time to waste. They might not really have that luxury of sitting down and then going through every single thing you wrote one by one, and then only to find out that maybe that's not what they're looking for, or maybe for them to give up at the end, whereas what they're looking for is towards the end of your article. That's why headings and subheadings are very important. Once they check out your article, they go through the headings, and then it's easy for them to find what they are looking for, and then you can now go back to the beginning and then read your article. So headings and subheadings are very important. So that's what you have in your body, your headings. Talk about what you want to talk about, the main things you want to talk about, give it subheadings, and make it beautiful. You can also throw in some pictures and images into your body to engage your readers. And then after writing your major part of the body, then you can now put in your conclusion. In conclusion, blah 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 blah. That's up to you. So that's basically it for the fundamentals of content writing. So we'll be moving on to steps to writing content. What are the steps you need to take to write a good content? What are the steps you need to take? What are the things you need to do? Okay, so first off, we have research. Again, research comes first. Research certainly comes first when it comes to content writing, because you need to do good research to be able to produce good content. Research is very important. It can't be overemphasized. So when you want to write content, the first thing you do is to make research. What are you writing on? Maybe we want to write on the production of eco-friendly bottles. How are you going to do that? You go on a research, find out what does eco-friendly mean. What is the difference between eco-friendly bottles and our regular plastic bottles? You go deep, dive deep, and make sure you do a lot of research on what you want to write first, so that when you put your pen to the book, it will not be too difficult to find something to write on. Next, you consider your target audience. Who are your target audience? Kids, adults, old men, maybe bottle producers. Who are your target audience? Consider them, and then that would inform the way you write. It's going to inform the language you use. Are you going to use a layman's language, or are you going to use technical language? That is what considering your target audience has to do, what it has to do with. Next up, you write. Then you can start writing. Some people prefer to create an outline before they write, which is good, which is really good. Outlining makes it easier for you to write. It makes the writing process smoother. And when you want to outline, basically you have, okay, what am I going to talk about in my introduction? You quickly do a quick jot or a quick scribble on that. Okay, afterwards, what am I going to write in the body. What are the steps? What are the things I'm going to focus on? What are my key points? You list out your points, and then, okay, this is how I'm going to end this. So outlining makes your writing process easy. So then, for those of you that love outlining, you can actually outline before you write. And then for those of us that like free writing, you can just dive deep into it and then see how it goes or see where it takes you. And number 4, ensure you make use of good grammar. Even as you write, make sure you incorporate some good grammar in there. Very, very important. Very important. Grammar is everything. Bad grammar can be a big turn off. It can be a huge turn off. You might have written something beautiful, but then maybe the grammar is just not correct. It can be a huge turn off. And one of the ways you can check out your grammar is to use apps or features such as Grammarly. It's going to help you to check out your writing for errors, for typographical errors, grammatical errors, punctuation errors, and then even as you write, it's easy for you to make changes or to correct whatever you're doing. So make use of good grammar. And also know your keywords. We spoke about keywords earlier. Know those things that will drive engagement. Know those things that will drive your audience to you. What are they looking for? Maybe people are looking for how to make eco-friendly bottles. You're going to throw in some things that have to do with how to make eco-friendly bottles so that your article can get a better ranking. Yeah. So number 6, create your headings and subheadings. Very important. Even as you write, make sure you place in those headings and subheadings. Make sure they are good. And after you've written the whole thing, check out your heading. What's your heading? Is it just how to make eco-friendly bottles, or just make sure it's something intriguing, something that would attract your audience. Make sure your heading is going to be attractive, because that's the first thing they are going to see. That's the very first thing that's going to attract them. That's like the first impression of your content. So ensure that you make your heading quite attractive. Both your heading and your subheadings. Don't forget, that is what makes it easy for your audience to navigate your work. And then number 7, add images if you want to. This is not necessary if you're going to be writing for, maybe you're writing for someone else, not yourself. So now that we know how to write content, now let's find out how to become a content writer. How do you become a content writer? Just 3 easy steps. Number 1, read a lot. Ensure you read. Make sure you read. Keep reading far and wide. Read fiction, read non-fiction, read articles. It's very important. Just read. Reading has a way of building your vocabulary. Reading has a way of building your knowledge. Reading has a way of giving you your voice eventually. Number 2, research a lot. Make sure you do a lot of research. Like I said earlier, research can't be overemphasized. I think I've spoken about it before, and there's no need to go over it again. Research is very important. And then write a lot. Make sure you write. Just keep writing. It doesn't matter whether you already have a job or not. Just write. One thing people do is to open blogs. They start a blog and then they just write on any topic. They could decide to write on any topic. They might decide to write on any topic and just maybe post it on their blog or put it on a blog and share it with your friends, and people would read it. And with that, they're already building their portfolio. And what's a portfolio? It's basically a collection of your work, a collection of things that you've done. So when you want to get employed here, one of the things you do is just, okay, this is my portfolio, this is a collection of the things I've done before. And then your potential employer can go through it and see, okay, this person is really fit for what we want to do. But if you don't have any proof to show for it, how are you going to get a job? So don't wait around till you get a job. Start writing, start researching, start writing on various topics. It's up to you. I work for an editing for a company, and I am an editor. One of the things I do when we want to take in new content writers is to ask them for their portfolio. Can I see your past works? Can I see the things you've done before? Then that influences my decision to take them in or not. So it is very important. Make sure you keep writing. Don't stop writing. Don't give up. To become a content writer, you need to keep writing. Very important. And now we are finally coming to the end of this lovely class. I hope you really gained a lot. So we'll be moving on to our conclusion. So finally, in conclusion, becoming a content writer is not so difficult. It's not that difficult. It's just up to you to be determined. It's up to you to be disciplined and to place your mind on it. Once you put your mind to it and you start working towards it, that's just it. You can become a content writer. It doesn't matter if you've had a background in writing or not. You can work towards it. It's just about practice. Practice makes perfect. Practice helps you a lot when it comes to writing. A lot of people had zero background in writing. They didn't study anything that had to do with journalism, or they didn't do anything in school that had to do with writing. But they worked towards it and they became good content writers. And one thing to put in mind is that companies need good researchers. They need people with creative voice and good SEO skills. They need people that are able to research, that can go far and wide to do research. And they also need people that have, good search engine optimization skills. Very, very important. So it's very important to find your voice. It's very important to do research, and it's very important to learn SEO skills. Like I said, we'll be talking about SEO skills in our next class, search engine optimization, how to go about it and how to utilize it for your content. Another important thing to note is that you can either be a freelancer as a content writer, or you work in a company with a boss and a team. It depends on you. As a freelancer, you can work on your own time, you can work on multiple projects at a time, you can explore, you can do a lot of things. And that's the good side. But the bad side is you might not really have, someone to guide you better on how to get better. But you can learn from your mistakes or from the jobs you've done. And then when you work for a boss, the good side is that you have someone, watching you and taking you step by step. You have people that would help you to get better, and they would point out, okay, this is where you need to work on. This is the area you need to work on your voice, or your research wasn't adequate when you wrote this particular content. But the other side of it is that you might not really be able to work on your own time, but it depends. When you're working for a company, you can actually work as you can work remotely, or you can work on site, and you can also work maybe hybrid. So it all depends. There are a lot of opportunities in content writing, and there's a lot to learn. So start your writing journey. What's stopping you? Thank you for listening. I really hope you got useful knowledge from this class. Thanks for joining us. Till next time, we'll be talking about SEO in content writing. Bye.